Okay, I was in the midst of making a video rebuilding this Zaima lighter, but I had some trouble with the filler valve on it, okay? You know the old standby filler valve here I'm talking about, this kind right here. No pin, alright? Now, if you got a filler valve like this, guys, I'll tell you what happens. Basically, when you use that, your butane to fill up, the gas just goes around on the inside of the seal around this pin. And there's just basically what you got. I want to show you right here. Basically what you got is just a little bit of clearance. You see what I'm saying? In this pin to let butane in. It's not really a very good design. And later filler valves were of a different design. Unfortunately, if you got this type of valve, okay, in your Zaima lighter, this is what you have to deal with. Now, I come up with a way to rebuild these lighters, but still, they're just kind of problematic. I mean, a lot of people get a hold of me, and, well, when I say a lot, I mean a few have gotten a hold of me, and they're having trouble because when these lighters come out, they usually come up with when they first come out in the box, they come up with a little screw adapter that's screwed inside here that had a pin on it, and it actually helped for those to fill their butane lighters up more appropriately, I should say. But I was fighting this the other day, and I got an idea. And the idea was, you can get on eBay and they have these Ronson valve rebuild kits. Alright. Well, I don't have one to show you. But this lighter here, I did the kit. And I used the Ronson fill valve, and I rebuilt this here. And the bottom here. And this lighter has been going, let's see, it weighed 44 grams when I filled it up about around 40 hours ago. $44 grams. You can see it weighs 44 grams now. Alright, so it is holding. But I'm not too impressed at the moment because the clearance that I had to tap the inside, as you can see here, I measured, there's a little ridge on the inside that this valve, this part right here, slips into, okay? And as you can tell by my figures here, 18.04 grams total length. And then from the top here, you had a 6.55 millimeter. Then from this way in, you had a 10.54 millimeter, which leaves 1709 subtracted from the 1804, gives you anywhere from 0.98 to 1 millimeter thickness of that ridge in here. And that's what I had to use to tap it out. I've had this tap for a while. This tap actually I bought it when I used to have these Ronson valves here. I bought that particular tap to tap inside my project I had. But it did work, but it doesn't leave you much thread to grab a hold of that. Okay, so that's could be long term. That could be a problem. But I've measured the inside diameter of this. This is 5 millimeter, so I thought about getting a 5 millimeter brass rod drilling a hole in the center of it and using this tap and tapping it out. And that way I'll put the brass rod, threaded brass rod in this way, then the valve screws in this way. So actually the brass will have more to screw into. I mean, the valve will have more to screw into the brass rod, and the seal on top will it'll give it plenty of strength. Okay. Anyway, and the good thing about that too is this route here, you can put, now let me show you. You can install the cap on it, and you could use the regular filler valve cap. Screw it back on, and there's no valve clearance. Okay, so this is a thought for you guys out there far and away. When I order them valves, I got to order them, I think, all the way from the UK. And the valves are about I usually buy 10 of them. They're about $4.50 a piece. Now, I'm going to empty this here. I'm just going to empty this lighter because it's that's probably enough. And when I did order those valves, it also comes with these little installation tools. So you can get on there and Facebook and do Ronson valves. I want to show you what I got here though, that way you'll know. Alright. This is what you're dealing with here. I put 2 O-rings on this one here because this one here had a gap. Now let me remove this O-ring here if I can get it off. You can see this in here had a space right here between the thread. There's some thread on top. This area here, there's thread here. Now the newer ones I've seen are threaded all the way down. That would be the one you want to get. Okay, get the ones got thread all the way down to about like here. But anyway, these aren't rebuildable. But you know what? For as long as this would probably last, it really don't matter, because you know, you can just pop one out years down the road and this goes bad. You can just pop one out and put a new one in. You know, and to me that's an excellent way, I mean quick way to rebuild it. You know, the only problem you might have is if you do the 5mm rod in here drilled out and tapped so you got more to grab onto here with thread, you might have to pop the whole valve out to do it, unless you put a 5mm rod in there, a tight fit, put a little heat on it and just dump a little solder in there to let that, so that valve won't want to come out. Either that, or possibly just if you make it long enough, still you're going to want to maybe dump a little solder in there to hold that, so if you do replace this with this part in the lighter, this will screw out and the inner brass part will stay. Okay, there isn't much of an edge down there for this threaded part to hold on to. Although it did hold butane there for like I said, 40-something hours. What's it going to be when you've just been plunging on this for years? You know, what's it going to do to that thread? You know, I mean, you don't have much clearance. You got point. I'd said you had 0.98 to 1 millimeter. Look at that. It's not a lot of area there. It's not a lot of area there for Not even, that pin's even too thick for that. Not a lot of room there for threads, okay? Anyway, that's what I got going on rebuilding this lighter. And my thought is on rebuilding these old solid pin Zaima filler valves, so you can have long-term performance, you know, because to be honest with you, these things here, they work, don't get me wrong, but you use a lot of butane trying to get these things full. You waste a lot, I should say. But nevertheless, you know, a regular, now if you're thinking a regular Ronson valve that they sell in there, it won't fit. These Zaima valves are thicker, okay? So a Ronson valve, the one like they're selling, let's just say this, they're selling like this part here. And you take this valve in a Ronson valve and you screw it in. Well, this valve assembly for a Ronson won't fit. Matter of fact, I probably got one here somewhere. Yeah, I do. So, just in case you're thinking on buying a valve, this is the valve that actually comes for this. For rebuilding Ronson lighters, and actually I'm familiar with these because I've rebuilt Dunhill gas valve lighters, and these actually fit in the Dunhill roller gas too, okay? As you can tell, they're not going to work, okay? And I'll show you right here. 8.84, 7.77, so you got a little over a millimeter difference. The only way you can get that whole valve assembly to work is you'd have to have a threaded collar or a sleeve to fit over this, and you'd have to manufacture your own to do that. And I think if you had that kind of manufacturing ability, you just might as well make you a new valve assembly. But that's the next best thing right here, guys, is just going that route. Now this tap, just in case you're wondering about this tap, okay? This is an M4, okay? It's an M4.5 by 0.5 H2SS. Let me focus up on this. M4, that's 4.5 millimeter, okay? 4.5 millimeter with a half-inch pitch, 0.5 pitch. Alright, that's what you need to get the threads or the inside of this tap right here. Now, if you're not sure, you know, if you've gotten the right, get you one of them thread pitch gauges. I got one here somewhere. I don't know where I put it because I don't use it regular, because I always used it when I was measuring this stuff earlier, you know, to check out thread sizes. So I don't have a need for it now, so I got it tucked here somewhere. Not exactly sure where it's at. But I got this off eBay. Now, if you're in for sure, the guy that sells the inside of those filler valves, those replacement valves, he can tell you if you email him. That's what I did. He told me what I needed on this tap size for this. But if you're hard up, you know, get this. And I just took a pair of pliers on the end of mine and, you know, empty out your Zaima valve, and here, stick it in this way, Now I'll tell you another thing I did too, and the reason I use it because it made it easier, but I got this old Zaima lighter here. Alright, so what I did is I just used this lighter kind of like as a holder. I got it in there and I just threaded that. You're going to need some pliers onto that. You're best off, I got a tap thing for this here, okay? I got a handle and everything put on here, but last night I didn't want to run out the garage late at night and I was doing this, so I just used a pair of pliers. Be careful and cross thread that. But anyway, you can see what I'm doing here. Get you a better idea. I'm putting this close to me so I don't. Okay, cross thread that. Taking that in. See, it didn't even take much at all. Okay. Now, I'm going to build a specific wrench for one of these. For this, I got one actually. Like when I was working on them Dunhill lighters, take out them filler valves. I ordered this here. This actually is the perfect fit for this one here. See, especially on these, see how thin that ridge is compared to this one. It's hard to get these out without a screwdriver, without burning up them edges right there. These here are a little bit more in depth, but this one here doesn't allow you to get down in here, see. And it's actually not, it's not going to work. I want to make something like this for, for the Zaima filler valve, so I can take them out a lot quicker, or I could take them out without, burning up these tool notches in here for removing. Okay, see the brass, see the brass fillings that come out of there, tapping that. Alright, now, here we go. I'll take the valve out of this Ronson. I'll just, I don't have that O-ring on here, but I'm just going to stick that in there anyway and screw it down. I need to get the other O-ring on there, but right now I'm just going to do this so you guys can see. Alright, there it is. Screwed down. And like I said, still be able to use the Zaima cap on it, okay? Anyway guys, food for thought for you guys that's tired of the old Zaima valve. Hope this gives you some help.